Welcome back to the Deep Dive, where we take your stack of sources and really just break down the knowledge you need without all the information overload.
Yeah, glad to be here.
Today, we are diving deep into a truly foundational concept in business. It's one that, and this is the paradox, causes just endless confusion for, everyone from solo entrepreneurs all the way up to the largest corporations on the planet.
It really does. It's the classic strategic misstep, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Using branding and marketing like they're the same word.
Exactly.
If you ask 10 people what the difference is, you'll get 10, slightly different and often really confusing answers.
Yeah.
But the thing is, these concepts are not synonyms. They're two fundamentally different gears in the machine of a successful business.
Right.
And to treat them as the same is just, it's to misunderstand the essential blueprint for any kind of sustainable growth.
That's absolutely right. We dove into the material you shared with us, and the core insight, the mission statement for this entire deep dive, it's captured in one critical sort of non-negotiable phrase, and that is, you can't market a brand you haven't designed yet.
That's it. That's the whole game right there.
It sounds so simple. Deceptively simple, but the failure rate for companies that just start selling, advertising or reaching out before they know exactly what they stand for is, it's staggering.
It's staggering because that concept is the essential sequence. It's the prerequisite. You have to think of it structurally. Trying to skip that design phase and jump straight to marketing is it's like a construction crew showing up to start painting the walls of a house that hasn't even been framed yet.
Yeah, that's a perfect analogy.
The first gust of strategic win, the first competitor, is just going to reveal that lack of structure. You need an identity before you can possibly communicate it.
So our goal today is to give you, the listener, a crystal clear, nuanced, and strategically applicable understanding of this whole relationship. We're defining that crucial distinction. Branding is the what you deliver, and marketing is the how you deliver it.
What versus how?
What versus how. We need to unpack those two elements in, exhaustive detail, establish their required sequence, and then, and this is my favorite part, explore their shelf life. Because one is designed to be forever, and the other is, it's changing all the time.
And it has been since the very first printed ad. It's a fascinating contrast.
Mm-hmm.
What we're really doing today is dissecting the architecture of business communication.
Right.
Understanding this framework, what versus how, forever versus evolving. This isn't just, academic knowledge. It's truly the secret to building something that earns deep customer loyalty and can actually survive market volatility.
Okay, so let's unpack this crucial separation. Let's start with the identity itself. We have to start with the foundation, with that big question, what are you delivering?
Exactly. When we talk about branding, we are defining the very soul, the core identity of the business. It is precisely what you deliver to the customer. This is the abstract stuff, the intangible value proposition, the expectation, the feeling. Yeah, we have to move beyond thinking of branding as like just a logo and a color palette. That's a common mistake.
Mm-hmm.
It is the complex, emotional, and structural totality of the entire operation.
And the sources you sent, they break this what down into some incredibly detailed components. It goes so much further than just visual design. The first element, and I think it's often the most important one, is the overall feeling people have for the brand.
Yes, that's the gut check. It's that visceral emotional connection that dictates whether someone feels, affinity for you or just complete indifference.
Indifference is the killer.
It is. Think of it like defining a personality for a human being. Branding encapsulates the brand's essence, what the brand is, and critically, what makes the brand unique.
The differentiator.
It's the set of characteristics that allow it to be immediately differentiated from a competitor. If your brand is, indistinguishable from the other 5 options on the shelf, your branding work just hasn't been done effectively.
And then there's reputation, which we can't forget. Branding dictates how the business is perceived. It addresses, and I love this phrasing, what people are saying about the brand when the business owner or the CEO or the staff aren't in the room.
Mm-hmm.
And that reputation, it isn't built by a single ad campaign. It's built by the consistent delivery of the brand's core promise day in and day out.
And crucially, branding looks forward.
Right.
It's not just about today. It defines the goals the brand wants to achieve. That's the aspirational component. And it sets the moral compass, the core values the brand holds.
Right, the value.
If you are Patagonia, for instance, a core value is environmental sustainability. That isn't a marketing slogan. It's an operational commitment that shapes absolutely everything you do, from sourcing your materials to your lobbying efforts.
That's a perfect example, because if a value is genuinely core to the brand, it dictates how you spend money and what you do, not just what you say. This also applies to messaging. Branding covers the big picture stuff, the overarching thematic direction, and the philosophical promise. So what the brand is saying in a broad sense.
Yes, and of course the visual elements are in there, but, and this is key, they are the output of the branding process. They are not the starting line.
Right.
The brand's visual identity, what it looks like, the logo, the typeface, the color scheme, all of that is simply the consistent packaging of that personality you've already defined.
So if we take all of that, the feelings, the essence, the goals, the values, the look, the reputation, what does that massive foundational definition really boil down to for our listener?
Well, if you pull the lens back, what this all really means is that branding is the personality of the business.
The personality. I like that.
It's the entire fixed internal structure, the mission, the vision, the values. And this personality must be meticulously put in place first, because it is the fixed point in a world of constantly changing trends.
It's the anchor.
It's the anchor. It answers that fundamental question.
Yeah.
If this brand walked into a room, what would be its character, its demeanor, and its non-negotiable promises?
That analogy helps so much because personality is internal, it's stable. So, okay, if branding is this fixed personality, let's make the transition to marketing, which is the how. How do you take that carefully crafted, fixed personality and actively communicate it to the world to achieve your goals?
Marketing is the dynamic part. It's the action-oriented mechanism. It is how you deliver the brand to the world. So if branding is the blueprint for the building, marketing is the construction crew that executes the build, the sales team that brings people in, and the constant maintenance crew that keeps the public informed. It's pure tactical execution.
When we look at the elements of the how, it becomes very operational, very measurable. It covers how the brand communicates, the specific style, the tone for different channels, the platforms you choose to be on. And it's also about how the brand delivers its product or service, the whole customer experience, from the moment they discover you all the way through the purchase and beyond.
This is where the rubber meets the road. Marketing is specifically designed to demonstrate the brand's uniqueness.
Demonstrate it, not just claim it.
Exactly. Branding defined the uniqueness, the promise, the values. Marketing executes the proof of that promise. If your brand promises simplicity, your marketing demonstrates that with, say, frictionless online transactions. If your brand promises speed, your marketing is highlighting that 3-day delivery window.
And the scope of marketing is, it's inherently tied to revenue, right? Marketing covers the specific targeted strategy for making money and growing the business. This includes your pricing strategy, promotional campaigns, all those customer acquisition funnels.
And let's go back to that fascinating distinction about messaging. Remember we said branding is the general message, the what you stand for. Marketing, on the other hand, is the specific writing of those different messages. It's the copy used in the email subject line, the 15-second script for the YouTube ad, the exact headline on the landing page. It is the tactical layer of language.
Wow, okay, so to sum this section up then, branding builds the core, the unique soul, the personality that retains customers.
Yes.
And marketing builds the stage, the lighting, the script, and the advertising budget used to acquire new customers. This distinction, it immediately brings us to that strategic dilemma, the essential sequence.
Exactly. This raises the most important question. Where do we start? Should we prioritize generating cash flow and immediate sales? Or should we dedicate what seems like non-revenue generating time to building that deep, immutable foundation?
And the sources are pretty clear on this.
They are unequivocal. The order matters profoundly.
The rule of priority is crystal clear. Branding definitely has to come first. Before any type of marketing, any type of showing off the brand can even begin, you just can't launch an effective campaign if you don't know who you are, what you offer, and who you're even talking to.
And the reason for this strict sequencing becomes, totally obvious when we look at the pre-marketing checklist from the source material.
Right.
Before a business engages in any marketing activities, before spending a single dollar on Facebook ads, before commissioning a website design, before ordering business cards, these foundational elements must be firmly established. If you skip this, you are just marketing chaos.
Let's detail that checklist because this is really the operational roadmap for building that identity. First, you need to establish trust, and that flows naturally from a defined identity, right? If your message is confusing or inconsistent or it's constantly shifting, you just erode trust before you even make a sale.
Consistency is the absolute building block of trust. Can't be said enough.
Yeah.
Then you need the defined identity itself.
Right.
Once you know who you are, then you can effectively assess your competition. You can't position yourself strategically, finding your niche, differentiating your offering, if you don't know your own location relative to every other player on the map.
Right. Positioning follows identity. It can't precede it.
It has to. And following that, you have to lock down the defined personality and traits of the brand. The consistent character, the tone of voice. Is the brand authoritative? Is it playful? Is it serious? You need to know this before a copywriter can write a single piece of tactical content for you.
Then we get into the strategic definitions that are, well, often confused. The source really emphasizes defining a clear mission, vision, and core message.
And this is a critical nuance the listener has to grasp. The mission is what you do today, your fundamental purpose and your primary business activity. The vision is where you want to be in 5 or 10 years, the aspirational long-term impact.
And the core messages, it's like the sentence or phrase that connects those 2 points, right?
Right.
It explains why your present actions will lead to that future vision.
Exactly. And if you skip this deep thinking, your marketing department will be working with 3 different definitions of success, which always leads to internal conflict and wasted effort.
You also need a defined audience and set of values. I mean, if you don't know who you're talking to and what they value, your marketing spend will just be diffuse and wasted. Knowing your audience dictates the channels you use. You wouldn't advertise, say, luxury watches on a platform aimed at teenagers.
It seems obvious, but it happens all the time.
All the time. And finally, the checklist culminates with the most recognizable output. The brand logo. It's essential, yes, but it is the last step.
The very last step. The logo isn't the starting point. It's not some piece of clip art you just slap on your website. It's the culmination of months of deeply understanding your mission, your vision, your values, and your audience. It's the visual shorthand.
The flag on top of the castle.
The flag on top of the castle that represents all the hard structural work that went on underneath.
So that sequence, it tells the whole story of building a strategic foundation. The order of operations is rigid because success depends on it. First off, branding establishing the identity, the personality, the soul, the map.
And only then, second off,